Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. Today is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday morning to you. I hope that your morning is going well. My morning is going great. I'm up and ready to do some baking today. So today's video is going to be some of our family favorites, delicious desserts that we've been making for years. I have them all on my blog. I looked them up. I'm like, oh yeah, I've been making these for a long time. And so asked the family what they wanted to have for treats this week. And so they came up with strawberry pretzel dessert, which we've made for a long time. Absolutely love. The problem is I don't think I've ever made it in November, and I went to get strawberries. They're like $7.50 for a container, and you know, they're not very good because it is the end of November. So I opted not to get a bunch of them because I thought this dessert's going to cost me an arm and a leg. So I thought I've made the strawberry pretzel, but then in the fall here, a couple months ago, I made the apple pretzel dessert. So I thought, why don't I but make it, do them in individual containers, and then I can do some strawberry and I can do some apple. I think that's going to be a good choice today. And then it was requested for pumpkin pie. Now pumpkin pie, not everybody's going to eat it. So I had to think, how am I not going to make a big giant container of this because it's not going to get eaten, it's going to go to waste. So I thought last year I did my pies in muffin tins and I just did them individual and it worked out really nice. Everybody kind of grabbed their own individual pie and they loved it. So I think I'm going to do that for today to make it a little bit special. It's always, wouldn't it be better to grab, here's your own personalized dessert versus like, here's a big giant pan, just cut out your piece. Either way, we have a small sized Thanksgiving this year, so I don't have to worry about doing huge platters of anything. It's just us here at home. So I think that is the approach I'm going to take. So I'm going to first start out making my strawberry / apple pretzel dessert. This is so good, so good. I know a lot of you, or a couple of you gave me an idea to do a pineapple one, and I'm like, ooh, I personally would like that. I don't think I have pineapple. I don't have pineapple, but that would be a really good dessert. I don't think anybody else would eat it but me. So, you know, maybe one day I can make my own pineapple pretzel dessert, but I'm going to do apple because I know that is delicious, as well as the strawberry. So over my food processor here, I took the family size pretzel. I did about 3/4 of the package in there. And then you just put in a cup of butter, mostly melted, and it's 6 tablespoons of sugar. Let's say 1, 2, you kind of, you know, do a rough estimate. Yeah, we'll do a little bit extra. And then just process this. You want your pretzels, you can do it with a rolling pin, but it doesn't get them super tiny unless you sit there and crush it all day long, which will take you a long time. If you do them too fine, they get like too hard when you go to bake them. So you don't want a hard crust. Too big makes it more squishy, mushy when you go to make it if it sits, because they get like wet pretzels. You don't want that either. You want a nice balance in between. Perfect, here there. If you can kind of squish it together and when you pinch it, it sticks together, then you know you have enough balance of everything in here. So I'm going to keep mine. I'm not going to do if you're going to serve it for a party, do a 9x13 pan. But you know what? If you're making small size like I am, because I have a lot of dairy-free kids and they will not eat this dessert, but I'm going to make it and I can take it and pass it along to other family members outside of the home, which is really good. So I'm going to put it in here. These are a little bit bigger than I would like, but that's what I have. So you do what you can do. I could run to the Dollar General and pick up what I need, but instead of spending the money, let's use what I have. I made some of these individual for the apple ones, and this was really good because it's like 2 servings, 2 really big servings for dessert. So it'll be nice because I'll be like, here's your dessert. The 2 of you share it. So I'm gonna take it, and I'm just debating how many to make. I'll see how much I can make because you know what? The more the better, right? And I'm going to, do I need to spray? Yes, I'm gonna spray the bottom of the pans, and then I'm gonna squish the pretzel to the bottom, and then we're going to bake in the oven for about 10 minutes. I've got 9 of them here. I'm going to put them in the oven and let them bake. So while the crust is cooking for the strawberry pretzel dessert, I'm gonna do a pie crust for my pumpkin and chocolate pies. I wasn't sure how I was gonna do the chocolate. I went back and forth. I'm like, do I do it like a dirt cup? Because I'm like, do you guys really even like pie crust? Or do I do it with, I had these little chocolate dessert cups I thought would be fun, but after today, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna have a little bit extra apple pie filling, so I thought I'll just do individual ones. So you can buy crust, and that's great. Go and buy it. I have bought and purchased many times and used that. Save yourself. I was even talking to a girlfriend, and she talked about buying her pies this year, and I'm like, that's okay. Like, that is quite all right. You do what you can do. So if you want to buy pie crust, buy them. And what I did is I just cut them with like a circle. I actually used a glass. I think I used a cup and cut out circles to fit my muffin tins. So do what you can do. I'm actually going to make my dough because I didn't buy any. And that's okay, I just didn't. So I'm gonna put it in my food processor. You can mix this all up on your own and do it, you know, your own way. But if you put it in a food processor, it works really good. It rolls, it does the dough. You don't have to do a whole lot of work on it. And I really like that part of it because the food processor does all the work for you. So I'm just gonna put 2.5 cups. I'm gonna do about 2 1/4 cups in there, and then a teaspoon of salt. I'm just gonna use my fingers because, you know, that's the way it's gonna go. And then what you wanna do is add, let me get a knife, 6 tablespoons of salted, is this unsalted? Salted butter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oh, there's 6 right there. It's already numbered. And then you're gonna put some shortening in here. Shortening will help it so that's, you know, a little bit easier to manage and mix up. So just kind of cut this up in here. And let me get out some shortening. I bought shortening for whoopie pies. And I only use it once in a great while. You can get a big container of shortening to last you for a long time. So shortening in here, you know, that works. I'm not measuring it, so that's all right. And then just turn your food processor on, let it kind of pulse it a little bit, and then it won't, you know, get all stuck for a little while, and then it's gonna eventually get into a ball. Okay, so that's, you pulse it. No, just turn it on. You have to add water to it, and that's what's gonna make it into the dough. Now that my dough is all crumbly, I'm gonna start adding some ice water to it. So I just put in a bowl here, water with some ice, and I'm gonna add it till it makes it into a ball. You'll start seeing it'll form into a ball while it's on. You have a nice ball of dough right here. So I'm gonna put this up so I can roll it out. The pretzel is done in the oven, so I'm gonna take it out before I start getting out the dough for this. Smells good. They cook a lot faster when they're tinier, so this is good. You'll know it's like 10 minutes. It's like they're kind of, it's hard. You can see it kind of fluff up a little bit, but I'm gonna put this over here to cool. Perfect, that's gonna go over here. So your dough, you should put it in the refrigerator to chill it for a few hours. I don't have that time today, so I'm going to roll mine out real carefully, and then I'm gonna see how many it makes. I have my big giant muffin tin here. I don't know if it'll fit all of this or not. I'm gonna see if this, I can't remember what cup I used. I'm gonna try to see if this will cut the holes and circles right, and then just put it down. It's gonna be good. Okay, that made just enough for 24 of those, and I had one little piece extra. So this is good. So I'm gonna bake these in the oven. I'm like, how many do I take out? That's the key. Yeah, let me bake them fully. Let me get them fully baked. I know I have to do the pumpkin pie in here, and I'll have to continue baking it. So let me put these in here, and then I'll take them out, take out the ones that I do for chocolate. And we're gonna figure that out. We're just gonna figure that out. So the next thing I'm gonna do is get out the middle layer of the strawberry pretzel dessert, which is cream cheese, I think it's a cup of sugar, and Cool Whip, real simple. Okay, over here, I'm gonna add a cup of sugar and 1 package of cream cheese. Make sure you mix these two first, otherwise it's really clumpy. So I'm gonna put this in here, and then I'll add the Cool Whip to it afterwards. So, and this will be your middle layer, and then you want this to get nice and cool. And then, can I use my fork here? I can use my fork. There we go. All right, let's mix this up. So this is all mixed up, so now I'm gonna have to make sure. The only problem with not doing it in a big pan is making sure there is enough for each one. So just gonna have to make sure I ration it out. Instead of rationing, portion it out. Someone told me, one of my viewers said, instead of saying ration, use portion. So I wrote that down because I'll forget. Ration, portion it out. So I'm gonna start making my fillings for the strawberry pretzels and the apple one. I pulled the apple stuff out and the water was already boiling for the strawberries. So I'm gonna do 2 big packages of Jell-O. I'm gonna put it in here. It's what the recipe says on the back. I think it's 4 cups for 2 packages. Stir it up and then add more water. And then I'm gonna let that kind of set up a little bit, and then I'll pour it on the stuff, because if it's real liquidy, it just seeps right to the bottom, which is okay if you're in a hurry, but I'd like to set it up for a little bit. I had forgotten about adding ice to the Jell-O to make it set up quicker. I remember my mom doing this, so I just looked at the package and it said add some ice cubes to it to make it thicker. So I'm supposed to add, it's 4 cups of boiling water, which need a lot of Jell-O. So I'm going to fill it up to 8 cups with the ice, stir it, and then it says it'll set up quicker. So just kind of measure it out on your measuring thing. I'm actually gonna put mine in my freezer to speed up the process. Let's go over here and do our apple filling. So for the apple pie filling for my recipe, I'm not gonna do as much because I don't need as much. So I'm gonna do about half, I think, half of the recipe. So many choices, yeah, half the recipe, because I'm obviously not doing it, but I'm gonna add way more apples than originally called for. So let me mix this up here. So I'm gonna do about half the recipe because I don't want as much filling because I'm doing a very small amount. So you're gonna add water. I'm gonna do about 3/4 cup of water and then about half of a 3/4 cup. That's about right? That's good. And then instead of a 1/4 cup of cornstarch, we're gonna add a couple spoonsful. Again, we're eyeing it here. And then it's gonna be lemon juice. I'm going to stir this up. They say to let this come to a boil first and then add your apples to it. Now this is a little bit less water because my apples are frozen. So I'm going to have to take that into account because it will be a little bit liquidy. Now it's only 4 apples. I'm going to do way more because I like mine thicker. I'd rather have more fruit and less goo. I mean, when you have apple pie sometimes from the store, it's really filled with a lot of the goo, not the apples. I'd rather have the apples. That's me. So, but you know what I just thought I could do? Hold on a minute. Ooh, I'm gonna add more because I just remembered I'm making this for the apple pie. Hello. I totally forgot that. Okay, let's add some more here. So follow the recipe to a T if you're doing what I'm doing. Making some more sugar. I love when you start on something, you're like, wait a minute, that's not what I was intending to do. Okay, so do the recipe and then you can have leftover for apple pie. I totally forgot about that. Okay, that got thick real quick, look at that. So what I wanna do is add, probably gonna do about half of these apples in here. Let's see what that looks like. They're frozen, you're gonna have to let them thaw a little bit. Where's the spurtle? Let me get this spurtle. Okay, after looking at that, I know it's gonna be squishy, so I'm gonna keep adding. I'm all about way more apples than the actual filling. Can I do the entire bag? That's the question. I gotta let this thaw for a minute. I'd rather fill it with apples than with any more things in there. Let's resist. Gotta change the battery. All right, I'm doing it. I'm adding all those apples. Don't judge me. You know how I feel about a half bag full of apples. Okay, so this is just gonna boil here, and it'll be a nice filling. I'll add cinnamon. I think my pie crust, let's see what they look like. They're almost, oh yeah, they're already, they're definitely good. Let me take these out, because I have to fill some of these. So now I need to just, sorry, I'm way down here. So I need to decide how many I'm gonna do for pumpkin, how many I'm gonna do for chocolate, how many do for apple. This is the part, how much do you actually do? So the chocolate, I was gonna do chocolate pudding and fill it in some of these as well, but so maybe I'll ration out some of these for the chocolate pudding. Because nobody likes pie crust for pudding. You know what? Should chocolate pudding just go in those pudding cup thingies like these? Like right here, I've got, these are the wee yogurt containers. You get these, and then you can buy the lids on their website for, they're like $1 a lid, but they fit perfectly. I'm just thinking, what if I just save these for apple and pumpkin pie? Because that's like 24 pumpkin and apple pie. I think that's a lot. Decisions. It's all about how much is going to go to waste, Amy? I don't know. I know, this is so bad. Do I just do the pudding in here? Because kids just like pudding. That's what they like. All right, I got to do some thinking. Let me do some thinking here. Figure out what I'm going to do, because the pie bites would be tiny. They're not going to be that big. See, look at it. It's going to be like a tiny little pumpkin. I know. I mean, I think things through when I'm talking to you. I think I'm just going to make these be pumpkin and apple, and that's it. Yeah. The chocolate, I'm going to make just pudding. Can I do that? I might. Ugh. Do I have some chocolate cookies somewhere? I could do like a little crumbly on top. I'm going to have to do some looking. Okay. Sorry, you've helped me figure it out here. It's the decision. It's like, what do you do? Because, you know, you have to figure this out. It's like, it's the waste factor. It's like, how much of it is going to go to waste? I know that sounds bad, like pumpkin pie is going to go to waste, really? Yeah, it actually will. So I'm thinking to do apple and pumpkin in here. That will actually work, because it's not, these aren't cooked all the way, so that'll be good. Okay, so I need to get pumpkin pie mixed up over here. So let me get my mixer and my stuff over here. Okay, over here, so I'm gonna mix up. I like Libby's pumpkin pie recipe. I feel like, grew up, it's delicious. The only different thing I do is add oat milk to it, because instead of evaporated milk, you don't notice a difference, like at all. So I bought the extra creamy. That's the one I'm gonna use in here, just so that everybody can enjoy if they want. So just put everything in here. I've got pumpkin that was frozen. I'm gonna have to actually drain out the water. This was from my large can that I purchased at discount store, because I had so much. I'm like, what am I gonna do with it? So this, I'm actually gonna drain this out, make sure there's no liquid, because otherwise it makes it too runny, and just put in here, mix it up. That is one thing I noticed about freezing pumpkin, is that it gets liquidy. So if you go to mix it, it's just disgusting. So that was a full container. I just squished out the water. Look at it, it's only about half, but it'll be okay that way. So that way it doesn't, otherwise it's way too watery. So let me add all the ingredients in here and we'll mix it up. The last time I froze my pumpkin and then reused it for baking, it was fine. It mixed up really well. But I'm trying to think back what was different is that I had it out of the refrigerator, and it probably set at room temperature for a little bit more than being like really cold. This I was mixing up and it was all separated. I'm like, what is happening here? So I put it in my blender and mixed it up. That solved the issue. So look right here. So if you have pumpkin that's frozen and it separates, I'm like, that's really weird. Put it in a blender. Look at right there. You can actually mix your pumpkin pie up in a blender. It makes it better. So I had to do that because I was like, that was not good. I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? I'm like, that's a falsehood. It's probably just because it was too cold. So apple pie stuff is boiling. I think I'm going to, should I do it all over here? Let me bring everything over here. I'm just gonna fill these up with some of the pie filling, and then I'll do some of the apple as well. And then we're gonna be good. Okay, that was a tough decision how much to do in here, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So mostly pumpkin pie, just a few apple, and then I have this left over. I'm just gonna bake this. This will be like a pumpkin custard, because I find like when they eat the pie, sometimes they just eat the top layer and not the crust. So this can just be plain. I'm gonna do that, that works. This is gonna go in the oven. So I'm gonna do chocolate pudding with some oat milk here, and then I'm gonna do it with regular milk, and I'm gonna put it in my glass containers. I went to look for all of these. I have 6. Where's the rest of them, kids? So what I'll remember to do is when I do discounts for stuff, and they usually have them like 10 of them for $1 or something. So I don't really buy it for the yogurt because nobody likes the yogurt, or at least the flavors that I've had. But I'll buy them just for the jars because they are great little jars. I do have some plastic small containers I can use. It's just not as pretty, but it'll work. We'll see how filled this is. Let me get the oat milk, a measuring scoop, measuring cup, and then pour. I think it's just, is it 2 cups? I'm pretty sure it's 2 cups of milk. 2 cups of milk. Let's just mix this up. I'm coming to a realization, maybe it's the oat milk that is not wanting to incorporate the kinds together. Because I see the pudding doesn't even want to mix. So did I just do my, I thought I used oat milk before. Maybe I used almond milk. I did use almond milk before. I guess I've never used the oat milk. So puree it up, it'll work. I bet you it's the oat milk. Somebody help me. Oat milk does not incorporate very well, does it? I'm thinking so. I'll bet you that is what is the situation, because I'm like, why is that getting clumpy like that? Right? Somebody help me there. I'm thinking so. Let me add milk here, regular milk. Does anybody else smell their milk when they open it? I've had traumatized too much by milk going bad even before the expiration date. So I'm gonna put this, can't see, into here because I'm gonna do one that's the dairy-free and one that is not. So it's just 2 cups of milk. We'll put it in a blender, and then I'll try to pour it real quick before it gets thick. I did the separate containers just to identify which one is dairy and which one is not. It just makes it easier. I can label the jars and do that too, but I only had 2 more left, so this will work. I don't think a couple of kids asked for the pudding, so I think it's the oat milk. People, help me out, you oat milk drinkers. I'm thinking that's why it was all clumpy, because I was like, that's really weird. But we fixed it. So I have pudding right here. They can have this with some Cool Whip if they want it, or just plain. That's all they asked for. So I've got the pumpkin cooking. Let me check that. Pumpkin's doing good. I think the strawberry pretzel stuff is probably ready to come out, and I can, I put my, I'm very brave. I put my apple pie filling outside. Yeah, like with animals, that's crazy. I don't think they're gonna eat apple pie, but just to get it cooled faster. So it's sitting over there at my table. I think it's gonna work. So I can put that on top of my pretzel dessert because it needs to cool, because otherwise it's too melty. So let me clean my mess up here. We'll get out the strawberries and the Jell-O. Doing good, feeling successful, cleaning up, doing great. So I'm gonna take my strawberries here. I think I'm gonna save maybe 2 for apple pie. I think just 2, because I don't think everybody loves that one. But I'll see how many strawberries I can cut up here. So I'll do that. My Jell-O is, see how it's kind of thick, kind of gooey. You want it kind of that way, because otherwise it seeps right to the very bottom. So I'm gonna cut up these, place them sparingly on top as best I can. Those are some white strawberries. They remind me of, in the summer I got, what were they, were they cotton candy strawberries? I can't remember. I bought them at Aldi. They're like $5 for, you know, 10 of them. But it's good. So I'm going to just do this for right now and see how much Jell-O I have here to fill this up. Thank goodness for the red Jell-O to cover the white strawberry. And then I might do another one here. It just depends on how much Jell-O's in here. It's all about, I'm doing visual here today. So that worked for the strawberry. I got 6 of them there. I'm going to do some apple with the other ones. I'm glad I just did what I was supposed to do there. Put this on top. So this works. We have, I'm glad when I was thinking about it, I'm glad I stopped where I stopped. So this is good. We'll have strawberry pretzel dessert, individual, and then we'll have the apple pie, chocolate pudding, and then we got the pumpkin in the oven with the other apple pie. So easy dessert day for a family. I had to change things along the way, but you know what? That's what you do when you adapt and overcome. When you're making things, sometimes you don't always have exactly what you need, so you do what you can do. So let me wait on the stuff in the oven. All of my food and desserts are done. So I've got everything right here lined up, which is awesome. These are right here, the pumpkin and the apple. They're gonna cool off and then I'll take them out of their pan here. These I'm just gonna cover and put in the refrigerator. So that's it for today's video. I'm gonna close it and be done. The rest of the day, I usually like to film all day so you know what I'm doing all day, but I thought I'll just do a baking video today. Today is a little bit nicer weather. So my plan is to get kids moving, which they're moving. We'll have breakfast. We have school to do today. We have to do some from yesterday because I did not do them. And then I gotta do a few little things like maybe leaf blow today. There's leaves. Might leaf blow. Got a little bit of individual time spending with the kids today. So we might get out to the park because it's beautiful out. So we're gonna see how the day goes, but I'm gonna be done filming for today. I'll be back tomorrow and we'll make some yummy dinner. So you have a fantastic rest of your day. Remember, you are designed, you are created, and you are selected by God to do great, wonderful things. And I will see you tomorrow with another video. Okay, have a great rest of your day. Bye. The key right here is let these cool, and I did not, so they kind of crumbled.